Well, coming to Earth, I realized that most humans would have crushes, and somehow I have to adapt to it as well. That's why I'm going to tell you my embarrassing story having crushes. Okay, so for privacy reasons, I won't be using their real names. So I will be using fake created names, okay? So, story time. Let's talk about my first ever crush. Samantha was my first ever crush. So, how did I meet Samantha? Good question. So, I interacted with Samantha when we were around a similar age. Funny, I know. However, I did not know what exactly having a crush means back then because my parents, the adults, mainly, do the shipping and we are just like their plaything after all. So they keep placing me with Samantha in different poses, even hugging her, but there was no chemistry because she started to cry. But I think Samantha was just like a nostalgia type, like I don't really consider it as a crush, but now talking about it, maybe it can be considered, okay? But when I reached middle school, when I start to watch more cartoons, then I realized that having crushes means liking that character a lot. So I'll give two examples right now since cartoon characters are like the greatest examples. The first one is Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time and Wendy from Gravity Falls. So, analyzing these two characters, you'll realize that both of them are quite mature. And yes, I don't know why I fell into that hole. When I was in middle school, I also had a lot of weird introductions to girlfriend and boyfriend thing because I was studying in an all boys school and the neighbor school was an all girls. It all happens outside the middle school actually, mainly at my tuition place, where all the Asian parents household would just like throw their kids at too, treat them like as daycare. Truly a poop experience, but I also think I had my second crush there and I would call her Veronica out of nowhere because, somehow Veronica sounds more anyways, the class only had Veronica, me, and like three other boys, so like it doesn't make any sense, so that's why probably I had a crush on her. I think, I don't know, but back then we were kids, I probably felt for her charm. However, the other tuition that I went to, which was like a nighttime tuition, was surrounded by 15 girls. I know, right? And my tuition teacher was a girl as well. Amazing! Yeah, I know. And guess what? She placed me beside her, very quirky, and I was basically put on the spotlight. The table was like a conference meeting table, so it was very awkward having that much of cringe. And I remember one day my mother styled my hair all up, and that was probably the one day I regret going there because I was made fun of. And yes, I did not really achieve any crushes there because I did not actually interact with anybody. So that is why I moved on. Okay, I moved on to a new place because I moved away from my hometown. So now I am at the capital city, and somehow everything at the capital city is very different. I had a different background with all the students there. That's why it was kind of hard for me to communicate in the same language, okay? So even though I made tons of friends, there's also a lot of besties. And when you have a lot of besties, with the human, tend to spread rumors and a lot of, guessing who's your crushes. So yeah, that time we had a nomination. I nominated mine. They nominated theirs, which is the most popular one. Okay, the person I nominated, let's call her Jessica. So Jessica has a mole. And that's what I find very attractive. I don't really know. Like, I don't know why I find it attractive. Oh, great. Okay, anyways. You know what? It was the plot twist for this story. It was basically my bestie actually managed to get her to become his girlfriend. Wow! And I had like a sense of betrayal and happiness because it was my bestie after all. Yes, moving on to the part where I actually had like a very long lasting crush. In high school, I went to a private high school. Let's just go from there first, okay? And the high school is quite new. I was placed into my class, year 7. There was only 3 girls, and I'm the only guy there. So, of course, I got bullied. And screw that, moving on to year 8 and year 9. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about that, it's kind of traumatic. But anyways, there was a new student that came in that sparkled my eyes. At first, we were all separated to our own desired seats. For one of the classes, one of the teachers placed me beside her. Okay, let's call her Annabelle. She was a very extroverted person. She was very happy. Every time I see her, she is smiling for no reason. And the mentally torture game will begin, okay? The first few months I was sitting beside her, I managed to get to know her well. I got to know what she plays, what she likes to do. The more I realized talking to her, she was exactly like a son. She was crazily shiny and I was just admiring her at that point. Small context, she was older than me by 1 year, okay? Think about it. Moving on to the next year where more students joined in. Of course, the more I realized how close I got with her, the more I realized I was pushing myself away unconsciously because I didn't really want any rumors and spotlight regarding me. And then, yes, that's why I hate rumors. But when I realized that, a lot of boys in my school started to chase over her. Even the seniors had a crush on her. And I remember one day, one of the seniors wrote a letter to her, and I quickly took that letter and threw it to the rubbish bin in front of her. The guys would make it so obvious that they're trying to chase her, make it hella competitive. You know, I don't know what to say because I was just, I was just there existing, not knowing what to do back then. I wanted to try to confess, but that confession was very weird. I won't lie, it was very weird because the way how I confessed is completely poetic and deep, and it did not really went through her mind properly. So I took out my full courage and I texted her with like a message. Okay, I did not really like talk to her physically, but I somehow went very metaphorical and asked, "Thank you for being my friend." And she replied with laughing emoji and wrote, "Sure." I was so darn clueless, okay? I thought it would work, but no, I should have just been like, just casually be like, "I like you." After that, I got to know more regarding her type, okay? She was not planning to date at all during high school. So I was a bit relieved in a way, but the more I talked to her, the more she started to treat me like a little brother. She gave me a lot of advice on how to look better, and which I don't really know if that's a sign of giving me a chance, or I don't know, I'm an overthinker. But yes, after she gave that a word of confirmation, our friendship started to drift. During COVID, I was going down a very terrible mental health regarding communicating. Drawing an anime was keeping me sane. I won't lie, I was that anime kid in my school. And somehow, the longer I know, I started to forget about having any crushes. Okay, I was focused on my passion. So more time passed. When I was in like the drawing phase, I realized she was hanging out with a lot of guys and making it very obvious by sharing on her story. At that point, I started to trying to forget everything about it. And even though I wanted to confess again during graduation, but there was no more graduation for me because I already moved on with studying art. That's when I lost ties with Annabelle. So moving on to my college years, I realized having a crush is at that point just admiring someone, okay, based on like their personality or their appearance. Even though I have a crush on them, I don't really know how to start a conversation. So that's why I felt like I was haunted by Annabelle. That's what kept the crush game going way too long. To fix this problem, I've decided to bring back the dead and message Annabelle again. I asked, "It's been a while. How are you doing?" Just basic conversation. And somehow she replied. Oh my god, I was so happy, So we were both studying in the same creative field. That's what she told me. And surprisingly, I was very shocked because I never expected that. So I was kind of hopeful that I can have more conversations. But when I showed her my work, she had like feedback about it, okay? And she sent me back a video of her sending the review from a guy friend of hers. And of course, overthinker me is going insane right now, and like legit, I don't know if she already has a boyfriend or anything, but like yes, I was like, yeah, thanks. Finally, I couldn't handle the the temptation. Okay, I just checked her like social media and I realized to my horror she already had a partner, which is, I don't know how to describe that moment, but I was having a lot of mixed feelings. It felt like recognizing your idol that has a secret partner, okay, out of nowhere. So it got me realizing that I was just idolizing her. At the end, I felt happy that she found someone that makes her happy. And I'm so glad it's not that person back in high school, or else I'll be so pissed off. So this gave me a great reason to get into the idol culture, because having crushes is the same as having idol crushes, okay? And from then onwards, I've been coping with crushing on Honey. Great, she basically is the definition of my sunshine in person. But anyways, that's pretty much for this video. I hope this video does not come as me complaining and not too demotivating. This is just my experience with having crushes. Be sure to subscribe and comment down below your experience with having crushes, if you have them. I don't know, but yes, I have like an online shop that sells my merch. Please do take a look. And that's basically it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.